All right. Well, since we're talking a little bit about WWE, let's talk about the upcoming Elimination Chamber first. So far for the card, the only stuff that I know of that's been confirmed, we've got the United States Championship match with Austin Theory and Seth Rollins. It's also Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, and Montez Ford. So I have a feeling it's going to come down to Rollins and Theory. That's why I said that. It's going to be interesting. Elimination Chamber, just so you guys understand the concept fully, it's kind of like a Rumble in the sense that you get a new opponent in the ring every few minutes, except the opponents are all announced in advance. There's not as many, and most of them are trapped in a little box on each corner of the ring until they're allowed out. So
Okay.
it should be pretty cool. I don't. It's a weird format for a wrestling match, but it's usually pretty damn killer as far as the in-ring stuff that happens, because it's a cage, but it's a cage with stipulations. There's usually something wild that happens. So I think it's going to be good. But that's the men's chamber match. Now the women's chamber match has Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia, and Carmella.
Yeah.
It's a weird mixture. They don't have
Why?
a lot of they don't
Why do you
have a
think
lot of
that?
their big names in there. I mean, you've got Asuka,
Yet.
who deserves to win it. Well, I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all of them, right?
No.
That's got to be it for the chamber match.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's it for them. But you're saying what?
They've done all the
stars are they missing?
qualifiers. Well, they don't have any of their big names in there. You don't have, a Rhea Ripley, because she's now involved in this thing with Charlotte moving forward. And Charlotte, obviously, Becky Lynch, Bailey, all these people that are involved in these different programs right now. So the chamber match, it comes down to, like, you've got Natalia, who's been a workhorse for WWE for 15 plus years.
Forever.
You've got Carmella, who is basically used sparingly.
Was she hurt? Was she hurt? Is that why she was out so long?
Carmella, I think she's been hurt on and off for a while. I know that there were some personal things that we don't need to talk about on here. Her and Corey Graves went through some stuff in their life.
Oh, okay. Well,
and then, there's Raquel Rodriguez, who I don't know why she's not doing more on the roster right now. She's a great talent. She deserves a good push. I'm not sure what's, like, misfiring there. And then you got Nikki Cross, who is just kind of transformed back to her old psychotic gimmick, which is great. But, I mean, then you got Liv Morgan and Asuka. So Liv Morgan, Asuka, and Nikki Cross, those are the biggest names in this match besides Natalia. And Natalia's never going to win anything big ever again, I don't think, in her career. She's really... They use her in a way that's like, she can make people look good, but they're never gonna do anything with her moving forward, as far as like a title or anything like that. In my opinion, I don't think they will, because if they would have done it a few years ago. Now, outside of the two chamber matches, we've also got that mixed tag match with Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's going to be interesting. But I hope to see a little bit more intergender contact in this one, rather than a mixed tag where it's like, oh, the woman's in, now the other woman has to get in, because that's fucking stupid and redundant. And WWE is sort of starting to push that envelope a little bit, and I just hope they really kick it into fucking full gear here.
Yeah, what's her face slammed? What's Mysterio's kid?
Dom.
Ex-con
Dom.
So I'm thinking that they are going to have it, in the sense because, first of all, she slammed Dom, and then Rhea had that one match with what's his name? That full-on match with
Akira Tozawa.
Tozawa. And so I think they're probably going to mix that up a little bit better.
I really hope so. I think they're prepping for it. And if anybody could do it, it's Beth and it's Rhea.
Oh, those ladies are strong, man. They could handle all of that shit.
Yeah. So. And Edge is no stranger to intergender stuff. And Finn Balor probably isn't. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but as much stuff as he did in Japan and
I'm sure
elsewhere, he was, I think he may still work on and off at a training school. They all do this stuff when they're not on television for WWE. So it makes sense. And these are some great competitors to have start that kind of new era of intergender wrestling in WWE.
Right.
But the other match on that one, the match between Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn.
Oh, that's right.
Now it's in Montreal. It's Sami Zayn's hometown. They're building this thing with Cody Rhodes, which we're going to talk about him a little bit more. But Sami Zayn on paper doesn't have a chance to win because they're building a program with Cody. However, Sami Zayn has been on fire for over a year now with this whole bloodline story. I think it's probably the best thing they've done on TV in the last 5 to 7 years. And he's super over, and he's going to be in his hometown. How do they have Sami lose to Roman in this match and have him, like, have it feel like it's okay without everybody being like, okay, now we fucking riot?
Roman Reigns is gonna have interference. There's gonna be cheating. You know.
I think Sami Zayn is gonna get DQ'd. Yeah. I think Jey Uso.
Something's gonna happen.
I think Jey Uso is gonna come out and attack Roman.
Probably.
That would be a good angle. It would also help with the whole, is Jey gonna turn on the bloodline or not? But it may be Kevin Owens that comes out to help Sami or something. And that's how the DQ hits. There's a lot of stuff that could happen here. Maybe Jey Uso comes out, confronts Kevin. Jimmy Uso's there. Maybe it starts the tag team feud that they've been talking about potentially doing with those two teams. So, I don't know. This is a slippery slope, man. You can't have a babyface get built up this big and not do something.
What's your thoughts on that, Tammy?
I think that Chris summed it up so well. I just loved listening to it. I mean, he has so many deep thoughts about this storyline, you know? I'm like engaged in that. I just forgot about everything else. I mean, I am glad that I somewhat know what he's talking about because I don't watch WWE all the time. So I don't know all the backstories of all the storylines, but I have gotten semi caught up on this one because I recently started watching it a couple months ago. So I'm glad that it is really a fun storyline. And the points that Chris made about the whole Uso brother coming in and being the one that messes everything up is an interesting angle. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's not going to be clean, whatever it's going to be, right? It's never going to be clean because that'll just piss off the fans because everybody loves Sami Zayn. So I'm sure they'll twist it right. They've been doing pretty good on that stuff lately, so I think it'll be a good twist.
There's not a good way though that's gonna make everyone happy. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing they do is gonna make everyone happy at this point. Because what would make everyone happy is to see Sami Zayn get those titles, and that's not happening. It's just not.
Cody's gonna win.
Yeah, I don't think there was no way to predict that Sami Zayn was gonna like get this over with people from this whole thing. So, but I mean, good for Sami Zayn though, man. He deserves it. I hope that this is at least a good match for him, and he has a really good time in Montreal back in Canada, doing his thing.
That's going to be very exciting to watch because, especially, I mean, they went crazy for him that one night on SmackDown when he was there.
They sure did. He actually mentioned in that interview he did with Ariel Helwani, that was kind of the turning point that night when they were in Canada. That was his first time on TV with Roman and everything, getting involved with the bloodline. That was their first like actual on TV together time. And it probably wouldn't have happened had the Usos not been able to get into Canada. So yeah, it'll be neat to see what happens there. But since we're talking about that, we have to talk about the Cody Rhodes sized elephant in the room. What do you guys think about Cody since his return, the build they're doing, all the stuff, all the Codiness? What do you guys think? Rafe?
I'll let Tammy go.
Okay.
Well, as far as Cody goes, I just think he wants to be loved, like give it to him, man. He's like set himself on fire. He's doing all this over the top drama all the time. Just give it to him. Okay, come on. He's worked hard. He's desperate. He wants your love. Give him your love. Make him feel the best. That's how I feel about the whole thing.
I wish I could disagree with Tammy, but I can't. It's just because we've been at those AEW shows we were at the AEW show. Our first AEW show is when Malachi Black made his debut. Okay.
That
And
feels
he
like
wrestled-
forever ago now, too.
It feels like forever ago.
Mhm.
And he wrestled Cody. And Cody left the boot in the ring, and there was the drama with it. And everybody was shitting on him. And it was like, we were almost kind of surprised because it's like, here's the guy that pretty much was had a hand in starting this company up. And they bring in Malachi Black to be this heel. He was supposed to be this big heel. I mean, he really, really was. And it turned Malachi into a face in a sense, and Cody into the heel. And so Cody, you could tell, like I don't think it was kayfabe, the disappointment he felt at everybody being upset with him and shitting on him and doing all this stuff. And I think the turning moment for him was when the dude threw the belt back at him, when he threw the belt into the crowd in AEW, and that guy threw it back at him. I think Cody was just like, all right, I can't, this is not it. I've got to figure out something else. I'm going to go and hang with my dad's company. I know I'm a legacy there. My brother was there. The Rhodes family is very highly respected. I want to get into the WWE Hall of Fame. This is what I want to do. I know people will love me. And what happened? He came back.
Right.
People love him. And so he keeps up his drama like he always does, because that's his style. You know what I mean? To create that drama. So I know he's going to win the belts before the year is out. You know, it's just the way it's going to be. And that's cool. And I hope he gets that, because, he really, he set himself on fire for the AEW fans. And they still booed him. He deserves to get something here. And the guy works very, very hard.
Yeah, I agree.
And, so I'm looking forward to him to win it. You know what I mean? It'll be a fun moment, and I'm glad. I don't really care about anything else. So
WrestleMania, the show of shows. Cody finally gets his title. The Rhodes family name finally gets that big win.
Yeah, man. I think that's what's going to happen. And that's cool.
I have a few problems with this whole thing, though. Had Cody not gotten injured and gone out, I think we could have built it much, much better. I think it could have meant a lot more. The 3 matches he had with Seth Rollins were incredible. They were fantastic. And had he not gotten hurt and he could have continued that momentum, I think they may have been able to do it sooner. Here's the problem, though. We had Cody with this fantastic return to WWE. It was monumental. It was so big. Everybody was talking about it. They had all this free press, all this stuff happening. And then he's gone, right? He's not just gone. He's gone for a long, long time.
He had a serious injury.
Then they bring him back at the Rumble. He enters at number 30 and wins within a few minutes. That's all he's done since he got injured to deserve this title shot. There's been no struggle. There's been no staircase of he's gonna do it. He's gonna get there eventually. He hasn't faced any real big problems with any of that. So we have, the whole issue with him coming back. Oh, it was a big deal, and there was all this push behind it, and then it fizzled out because he couldn't do anything. And now he's returned at the Rumble, and we're, a month and a half or whatever it is from WrestleMania, and he's not even having matches on TV really to build anything. He's not showing that he deserves that spot. And I think it would mean a lot more if Cody loses at WrestleMania and has to go through
the journey again,
trials and tribulations to rebuild Cody as he really deserves this, because that would make the win and the payoff so much bigger, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the way my wrestling brain works, but I want to see more from it. I want like a big, huge payoff. And right now it's like everybody's kind of predicting he's going to win the titles because that's all he's talked about since he got back. The problem is he hasn't had to really do a lot since he got back because he was injured for so long. So I don't know. I think he is going to win them. And I think it's going to be weird.
Chris, keep it in mind, man. He wasn't medically cleared till that day of the Royal Rumble. So
Right.
you
And
know
I mean,
that
that's a lot right there.
yeah,
The
but
fact
he's
that
a,
they're like trying to rush it just so he can win at Mania,
yeah, but it's a ratings pusher. You understand? He gets ratings.
I get that. I do.
All right. So
And
you
I
always
think
have to keep it in the back of your mind that this is still a business. And if you listen, and I'll plug this, but Mark Maron did an interview with Jericho, Tony Khan, Colt Cabana, MJF, and Eddie Kingston. And Tony Khan, I don't know if he inadvertently, and even Jericho inadvertently gave away a lot of backstage secrets of how these things work. So if you get a chance, check out WTF with Mark Maron on that AEW one. It's an awesome interview. I listened to the whole thing. It was really cool. But Cody's a ratings grab, okay? And so that's really what it's all about.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I just, for Cody's sake, I wanted there to be a bigger deal and a bigger story and a more triumphant, finally, a Rhodes family member has won the big strap. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just fulfilling that story and finishing that story that started with Dusty decades ago. The best possible ending would be to have Cody come in and have to like triumph over a lot of adversity and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously he's great. Obviously he deserves it, but that's not the story. You know what I mean? The story is different than what the business requires and what Cody deserves. And the story is he came back, then he didn't do anything for a long time. Then he came back again, and now he's going to get the belts all of a sudden. It's not ideal.
Well, let's just see how they do. Let's see how they do it.
We're going to have to.